Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television, live from Lagos. A reminder of our main news. Main political parties in next month's general elections intensify their campaigns across the country. Civil society groups raise concern over campaign funding, say wooing voters with money could affect the credibility of the polls. Lagos State government issues alert over outbreak of bird flu as it is battling to avert spread. And fresh protests break out in Niger Republic against the French magazine Charlie Hebdo's cartoon, churches set on fire in the capital Niamey. All our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Please visit m.channelstv.com to see us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. We also urge you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Scores of members of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, in Olu local government area of Imo State have defected to the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, in the state. At a rally to receive the defectors in Olu town, the chairman of the PDP in the state, Nnamdi Anyahe, said the development is an indication that Imo State is predominantly a PDP state, and the defection will also boost the morale of the party ahead of the elections next month. He said the PDP in Imo State is poised to reclaim the governorship seat in the state. Now, as the campaigns gain momentum, some civil society organizations have raised concern over the huge amount of money being expended by political parties, especially in view of falling oil prices. According to them, the role that money played during party primaries is an indication that many politicians are ready to buy votes during the elections.
It comes once in 4 years, and that's campaigns for various positions during general elections. Politicians gather crowds as they traverse the length and breadth of the country, promising a better life for the populace. In all these, money changes hands, and that has become a source of concern to civil society groups.
Because if money plays such a fundamental role in the elections, or if there is abuse of state resources, it could lead to violence. For instance, you go and book a stadium in a state that is not your own party, and at the last minute they cancel it. It could lead to violence. People could think that they are being marginalized or anything, and when they tell it to their followers, they could decide to be violent. So it will affect the credibility of the elections. And that's why we are shouting at this early stage, so that let them check what they are doing on time. At least, I know INEC has actually started a process towards monitoring campaign finance, which they were not doing in previous elections.
The leading political parties, the All Progressive Congress and the ruling People's Democratic Party, have raised huge sums of money from their members and supporters. Beyond the credibility of the electoral process, civil society groups insist that acts like this are a threat to democracy.
Political party primaries, the highest bidder won the ticket across the country. I think that with the elections, there is the tendency and there is the fear that the politicians would pay for the votes that they get. The consequence would be that, first of all, you do not have a credible election result. Secondly, you do not have the best candidates emerge. And thirdly, because these candidates have spent so much, they are not going into office to serve the people. They are going into office to make more money, first of all, to replenish what they had spent, and secondly, to prepare even for the next elections.
Existing Nigerian laws did not regulate the campaign expenditures of candidates seeking electoral positions. However, the laws require the independent National Electoral Commission to exercise control over political campaign expenditures. Nigerians will be hoping that the Commission takes the necessary action to ensure that this trend does not affect the nation's democracy.
While campaigns by political parties continue across the country, the Independent National Electoral Commission is also putting its act together for the February polls. In Osun State, the electoral umpire told journalists that it has received 2,133 card reader machines and 3,960 plastic ballot boxes to be used for the general elections in Osun State. Although there will be no governorship election in the state, 30 candidates from different political parties are vying for 3 senatorial seats, while 68 candidates are also in the race for 9 House of Representatives slots.
This election, what is novel about it is that accreditation will now be done with the use of the card readers. We call them smart card readers. We now have 2,133 card readers, 2,133 card readers in our store. We're expecting the rest anytime from now. But with the 2,133 in our custody, we'll be able to start training of those that will make use of them during the elections.
The Niger State Police Command has frowned on the use of private security personnel by politicians and political parties ahead of the general elections. At a meeting with political parties in the state capital, Minna, the Commissioner of Police, Olushola Amori, cautioned against the use of private security, as the command is ready to provide adequate security for all the political parties. He also warned that the command would not tolerate inciting comments during the campaigns.
If you get a commando war or vigilante group, how do you deal with that person? If he comes and begin to beat your supporters, people who have come to support you at your campaign rally, and he has scuffle with them, and he took law into his hand and begin to beat them, how do you control it? That is what they don't think to say. So please, we're not going to tolerate the issue of these other security agencies carrying weapons and arms coming around your campaign ground in all manners of uniform. We are ready to give you the security needed for your campaign, all political parties.
As part of efforts to boost education and reduce unemployment in Kaduna State, the state government has awarded scholarships to 125 students to study any course of their choice in different universities abroad. While distributing admission letters to the students, Governor Mukhtar Yero explains that 22 of those students are for doctorate degrees, 77 for Master of Science, and 26 for medical courses. He said the students will pursue their academic programs in Malaysia, Ghana, South Africa, India, New Zealand, Egypt, and Uganda.
These students are the latest beneficiaries of the Kaduna State Scholarship Scheme. They have been selected from across the 23 local government areas of the state to pursue various academic programs abroad.
I particularly note with delight that the candidates were selected after a thorough screening exercise within all the 23 local government areas equitably represented. From the analysis presented by the committee, there are 22 PhD students, 77 MSc students, and 26 MBBS candidates selected to pursue their respective programs in countries such as Malaysia, Ghana, South Africa, India, New Zealand, Egypt, and Uganda.
One after the other, They file out to receive their admission letters from the governor, as their relatives and government officials watch with admiration. According to the governor, the scheme was initiated to improve the manpower capacity of the residents for accelerated socio-economic development of the state.
The administration has in the last 2 years focused priority attention to human capital development. We have strived to improve the capacity of our youth and women through provision of functional education, relevant skills and capital for self-actualization. In this regard, government has placed education top of its priority list, coming second only to security. Consequently, we have made provision for the completion of all ongoing projects in the 2015 budget proposal. The education sector got the highest sectoral allocation of 20.5 billion.
Some of the students could not hide their joy for such a rare opportunity to develop themselves and be good ambassadors of the state abroad.
I'll definitely make good use of it because it's a rare opportunity.
As soon as I'm done with my PhD studies, I am bound to return back to university and also to impact on students that I would oversee and teach.
Opportunity that doesn't come often, so I am very happy and grateful to God and to the governor for this opportunity.
The Governor Yero administration has made education development a key component of his administration's agenda and has pledged to sustain the free education policy in the primary and secondary levels.
The Canadian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Perry Calderwood, has launched a media campaign against child and forced marriages in the country. According to him, over 15 million children globally are forced into early marriage each year, leading to an unbroken cycle of illiteracy and poverty. Mr. Calderwood is soliciting the support of the public to end the trend ahead of a global photo exhibition aimed at tackling the menace.
It's estimated that there are about 14 million girls around the world that are married each year before they turn 18. That amounts to about 1 in 3 girls in the developing world. Also, about 1 in 10 of these is married before the age of 15. The implications of child, early, and forced marriage are broad and profound. Perhaps the most obvious way that the girl's life is affected is with regard to her education. Very often, or usually, when a girl is married at a young age, it means the end of her formal studies. So her education is curtailed and her potential as an individual is limited by her education being cut off. Needless to say, the role of the media is so important on any issue, but especially an issue like this. It's important in helping us to convey messages to the general public, to inform and to educate people about this issue with a view to, over time, achieving a positive change.
To health and agriculture, there are indications of a resurgence of bird flu virus in poultry farms and markets in Lagos State. The Lagos State Commissioner for Agriculture and Cooperatives, Mr. Gbolahan Lawal, disclosed this to newsmen during a press conference in Ikeja. Mr. Lawal says the ministry got a report of high mortality of birds in some poultry markets during the festive period. He says efforts are being intensified to curb the spread of the virus.
Emergency active disease search carried out in the last 48 hours has so far indicated no spread of the disease. In order to contain the spread, the active disease search is ongoing in farms and poultry farm markets. Sensitization of poultry farmers and farm sellers has been rigorously embarked on by the surveillance and extension agents deployed by the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Health to cover the entire state. Disinfection of all live birds market in the state is already ongoing. all poultry farmers and fowl sellers are hereby enjoined to either strictly to biosecurity measures, as we always advocate, and report unusual incidents of high mortalities of birds. A team of 8 technical staff comprising of representatives of the Federal Livestock Department, National Quarantine Service, and the National Veterinary Research Institute is currently in the state on disease assessment and surveillance. Emergency active disease search carried out in the last 48 hours has so far indicated no spread of the disease.
When the news at 10 returns, Minister of Power says vandals now target gas pipelines, worsening the electricity supply situation across the country. Do join us again.